Hey everyone, Scott from PSP here. Today we're going to go through a little bit of ankle mobility, so a couple foam rolling exercises, a couple other mobility movements, and then we're going to look into a couple arch strengthening exercises as well. So if you do have those flat feet when you do squat, this is going to help then increase that arch, bring it up to a more stable position, and give you a more powerful squat. So to start, my best friend, a lacrosse ball. Anyone who's dealt with me before knows that I love the lacrosse ball the best over the foam roller just for the fact that it's a smaller diameter. It gets a little bit deeper into that muscle. I find it's a little bit more effective than the foam roller, but you do you. So first off, bottom of the foot, you're gonna roll anywhere from the ball of the toes all the way to the heel. We never wanna be on the toes themselves because we don't wanna roll on those joints. They don't stretch that well. We don't need those to be looked at as bad as anything else. So rolling anywhere inside to outside, find that spot that's gross, put a little bit of tension into it, hold it around that 20-second ballpark, get your mind off of it, and then get that body to relax it, move around, see if you find something else. Once you've done that side, spin over, hit that other side. Of course, we want to do both sides of the body. Even though one side might be better than the other, we tend to focus more on the bad side. Don't do that, hit both. So again, as we roll, you have control of how much or how little tension you want to add to this. Once you've hit all those points, next thing we're going to roll down to is what they call a pin and stretch technique. So we're going to get down, we're going to place that ball not just behind the knee, come down about an inch outside of the joint. As we know, we don't want to roll into those joints because they don't stretch, nor do we want them to. That's a bad idea. From there, when you're ready, feel comfortable to sit down on that ball. Now, most people tend to kind of sit back. They hold back. It sucks. It hurts. Really try and relax the body, sit into it. Once you're into that full sit, and then once you want to try and drop one hip to the floor, come back up, drop to the other side, back and forth a couple times. You're then going to come up, we're going to move it down an inch. You're then going to squat back down, sit back onto it. Should feel a little bit better than the first one. Rock back and forth. You're gonna do this 2-3 more times till you're just below kind of that butt of the muscle, so the bottom of that calf into that soleus one last time. Again, smash around. This one again tends to heighten everything again because we're getting into that stabilizer muscle of that lower leg. All right, same thing. You're gonna repeat other side all the way down. From there, we wanna do our typical stretch. So our calf stretch and our soleus stretch. So, best one that I find, we're into that nice lunge position, drive the hips forward, feel that stretch down that calf. You also get a little bit of hamstring in this one. Hold 20 to 30 seconds, drop that knee just a little bit. You're gonna feel it shift out into that soleus a little bit more. Same thing, 20 to 30 seconds, repeat other side. So straight first, bent knee second, and then I want you to repeat back to the first side and the second side one more time. So twice, bent knee, right? Straight leg, bent knee. From there, we want to work into ankle and knee circles. We're going to kind of explore that range of motion a little bit. Most of you know, we kind of get this going. It's not really getting as deep as we want it to. We want to kind of explore that joint a little bit more. So how we're going to do that is tracing the outside of the foot all the way around. And what I mean by that is roll your ankle essentially, come all the way around over top of the toes to the inside of the foot and around the heel. So all the way around the inside of the toes, inside of the foot, around the heel. Okay? 4, 5, 6 times. Then I want you to reverse direction. Same foot. Same thing, 4, 5, 6 times, nice and slow. Then I want you to repeat on the other side. Notice that while we do it though, bonus points for knee mobility and hip mobility because we're moving more than just that ankle itself. Okay? Fabulous, fabulous for that. Next step, feet together, knees together. Hands can go on thighs if you wish. For that balance, you're then gonna start to roll, try and get those knees to travel over top of the toes a little bit. As you feel more confident with that, I now want you to try and roll onto the outsides. So with balance, which is the tricky part, come up onto the toes and around. Up onto the toes and around, okay? And then same thing, reverse that direction. Up on the toes and around, up on the toes and around. Trying to keep everything as stable as you can. Now, if you stumble and fall, that's fine, reset yourself, go back into it. If it's something you haven't done or you haven't done in a long time, balance tends to be a little bit tricky. So work on that. From there, now let's explore that joint a little bit more in what they call a closed kinetic position. So foot stays on the ground. Put yourself a couple inches out from a wall, okay? You're gonna slide that knee until it touches that wall, keeping the heel down the entire time. Slowly come back, floss through, tap the wall, come on back, tap the wall, come on back. After you've done 3 or 4 times, move it back a couple inches, tap the wall, come on back, tap the wall, come on back. Your goal is to be able to keep that heel on the ground and have your toes about 5 inches away from that wall. Don't have to be exact measures. Easiest way, make a fist, pop your thumb up, place it in front of the toes. That's your 5 inches. From there, I want you to see if you can then keep that heel down the entire time without this happening, okay? If we can't get there, we know where we got a little bit of lack that we need to work on, okay? Now, let's actually look at a couple strengthening exercises for that arch. So if you've got that flat foot, you've got that hard impact when you go, you get that plantar fasciitis maybe on the bottom or that tension and that tenderness in the morning when you wake up, we're gonna work on a couple of those. Here's 2 exercises to finish up. Number 1, sitting on the floor, feet together. Now I'm gonna show this one from 2 angles. First one, forward angle. You're gonna pull your toes towards you while you flex your dorsiflex yourself all the way up. So toes bend into you, you pull your toes to your nose. Keeping your toes pulled in, you're gonna point first with the ball of your foot, then you're gonna curl your toes under, hold for a second, curl your toes up first, and then curl your foot back to you. So again, toes are up, point first, then curl, toes first, then foot. One more time. Ball of the foot first, curl, toes, foot. Make sense? Again, from the other side. A little bit easier to see here. Pull the toes in first, pull the toes to you. Ball of the foot first, curl under with the toes, pull the toes up, curl back. Again, ball of the foot first, curl under, toes first, pull back up. Got it? Next guy. This is gonna work a little bit better on hard surfaces, so linoleum, some kind of laminate. Carpet's a little bit more tricky. You're gonna grab some kind of towel of some kind. I've got a tea towel nice and close. This is gonna look a little bit harder due to doing it on carpet. This is kind of step 2, but having a lack of some place to smooth, this is how I'm gonna show it to you. You're gonna regress and start on something smooth, okay? So, standing is ideal. Using just the toes, you're gonna try and crimp those toes and curl those toes under. You're gonna try and pull that to you, okay? So, what it looks like, pulling in, let go, pulling in, let go. You're gonna notice I'm not pulling with my whole foot. I'm keeping my foot where it is. I'm just lifting, grabbing with my toes, lifting, grabbing with my toes, lifting, grabbing with my toes. You're gonna scrunch all that all the way up, okay? Repeat on the other side. I want you to do 2 or 3 sets of these. The longer the towel, the more reps it's gonna be, okay? The shorter the towel, obviously you're gonna have to do it a few more times to be able to get a good set in. Ideally, you wanna try and get 15 scrunches on each side, 2 to 4 times, okay? Nice and slow. Now, when you do this, if you find that it cramps, that's okay. Give yourself a little bit of a break. You're taxing something that we haven't in either years or something that you've never had in your whole life. Maybe you've had flat feet your whole life. This is something that gets a little bit tricky. So bear with it. Nothing's being damaged. Let it just do its course. Shake things out. Have a good chuckle at yourself when it does cramp up, and then continue on. All right?